In this video, we're going to be doing some word problems with distributing and combining like terms. Don't freak out with word problems. You're going to be all right. We're going to make it. But we do have to read and we do have to think. So be prepared for that. So for this first one, it says Bob mowed 2x squared plus 5x minus 3 yards on Monday, 4x minus 7 yards on Tuesday, and 3x squared plus 10 yards on Wednesday. So we don't actually know how many yards that is, but these are expressions that are representing that. If we knew what x was, then we could figure it out, but they didn't give us that information. We want to determine how many yards did he mow in the 3 days. So essentially, altogether, how much did he mow? So we have to be thinking about what does that mean? What operation do we need to do with these three expressions? Because we're trying to figure out the total amount, we have to add all three expressions. 2x squared plus 5x minus 3 plus 4x minus 7 plus 3x squared plus 10. I put them all in parentheses. When you're adding, it doesn't matter if you use the parentheses, but just to keep them separate so we can see them. The reason it doesn't matter is because, remember, there's like a 1 here. But if we distribute a positive 1, nothing's going to change from any of these. So this ends up being 2x squared plus 5x minus 3. I could have a positive 1 out here, but it didn't change anything. And this is just 4x minus 7, because if I distribute a positive 1, nothing changes. Again, plus 3x squared plus 10. Those signs didn't change. They only change if you have to distribute a negative 1. All right. So now I just need to combine my like terms. So I see a 2x squared here. That's going to combine with a 3x squared over here, which gives me 5x squared. I also have a 5x, 4x that are going to combine. 5x plus 4x gives me 9x. And then I actually have 3 constants. So I have negative 3 minus 7, which is negative 10, plus 10, which gives me 0. So those all cancel out. So I could put plus 0, but I don't need to. This is my final answer. One thing I noticed that a lot of students try to do is like keep working. Your final answer is an expression. It's not like x equals 2. They didn't give us enough information to determine that. It just wanted to know what expression represented the total amount of yards that he mowed, and that would be our final expression. So the next piece says if Bob mowed 14x squared plus 12x minus 3 yards total for the entire week, remember up here they just told us Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, how many yards did he mow for the rest of the week? So if this is the total amount, and this was the amount that he mowed on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, what we would need to do is take that total amount, 14x squared plus 12x minus 3, and subtract the amount that he mowed on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, which we determined from the first part was 5x squared plus 9x. So this is the total. This is how much he mowed on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We want to know how much did he do the rest of the week. Remember with subtraction, it is really important that you remember to distribute that negative. So this first piece, I'm just going to bring down. Nothing's going to change from it. But this second, remember this is like a negative 1. It's up being negative 5x squared minus 9x. My last step is just to combine my like terms. I have 14x squared minus 5x squared, which gives me 9x squared. I have positive 12x minus 9x, which gives me 3x. And then this little negative 3 does not have any like terms, and that's fine. We'll just bring him down. We can't forget about him. So this expression represents how much he mowed the rest of the week. So now let's look at some geometry. Let's look at some shapes. In these next 2 examples, it says find the perimeter of each of the shapes pictured. The first picture, it doesn't tell us this, but this is a square. So we have 4 sides here, and both of these sides are equal, but because it's a square, that means all of these sides are the same. So there is actually 2 different ways that we're going to do this problem, and I'm going to show you both of those ways. The first way is just go around and add each side, right? Perimeter is the outside piece, if we have forgotten that. So we're just going to add each of the sides. And like I said, because this is a square, this side is also 4z plus 3. And this side on the bottom is also 4z plus 3. So I could just add all of the sides. 4z plus 3 plus 4z plus 3 plus 4z plus 3 plus 4z plus 3. So I've accounted for all 4 of my sides. And then combine my like terms. I got 4z, 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 4z. And then that sounded super weird at the end of that. Anyway, that gives me 16z. And then I have the 3's that all combine. So 3 plus 3 gives me 6. Plus another 3 gives me 9. Plus another 3 gives me 12. And that's my final answer. 16z plus 12. That's the perimeter. That's the expression that represents the perimeter. The other way to do this problem, because it is a square, is we know that square is like the same side. All sides are equal. So we could just take one of these sides and multiply it by 4. 4z plus 3. Because it's 4 of this exact same expression. Then we would use the distributive property. 4 times 4 gives me 16z plus 12. So that may have been just a little bit easier to do, or at least less writing. But we would have gotten the same answer, or we did get the same answer from doing it either way. So the next example is a trapezoid. And so we can't use that same, like, just multiply it by 4 because all of the sides in this case seem to be different. So what we would need to do is just add up all 4 sides. So 3ab plus 4a squared. So that's this side. I'm going to do plus 3b squared plus, let's do the bottom here, 6b squared minus 5ab. I'm running out of space, sorry. Let me zoom in, maybe I can do it that way. Plus 2a squared. So I've added up all the sides. All I need to do now is combine my like terms. So I have a 3ab here. When you're looking for like terms, you need the same variable, or variables in this case, and the same exponent on those. So we have a 3ab, but we also have a negative 5ab. So those two can combine to give me a negative 2ab. Now we have 4a squared here, which would combine with the 2a squared, which would give me 6a squared. And then we also have 3b squared plus 6b squared, which gives me 9b squared. So that is my final answer for this problem. All right, we have 2 more examples, but before we do those, I have to remind you of the formulas for or I may not, you might remember. The formulas for the area of a rectangle and the area of a triangle. So the area of a rectangle is length times width. I like to do a cursive L so I don't get confused with a 1. And then the area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. So for the first one, it says, find the area of a rectangle with a length of 5 and a width of 3x minus 5y plus 6. So because the area of a rectangle is length times width, I'm going to multiply the length and the width. So I'm going to do 5 times 3x minus 5y plus 6. Hopefully you can see that we are going to use the distributive property here. So 5 times 3x gives me 15x. 5 times negative 5y is negative 25y. And 5 times 6 is 30. I don't have any like terms that I can combine because I have an x, I have a y, and then I have a constant. Remember, a constant doesn't have a variable attached. So that's my final answer. The last example for this video, it says find the area of a triangle with a base of 12 and a height of 5a plus 7b. Remember, the area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. So I'm going to start off with 1/2. The base here is 12. And the height is 5a plus 7b. And I'm just going to go in order here. Before I distribute, I'm going to do 1/2 times 12. 1/2 of 12 is 6. You could also think about it like this, and then it ends up being 12 over 2, which is still 6. So I like to think of 1/2 of. A lot of times that seems a little bit easier. So I'm going to bring down this 5a plus 7b. And now I'm going to use the distributive property. So 6 times 5a gives me 30a. 6 times 7b gives me 42b. Because the variables are different, I cannot combine those like terms, and that is my final answer.